for the first class of the JRC fitness class. So I'm going to kind of go through what we went over in our first class and then do kind of a basic breakdown of each of those things. So we went over this bouncy move, pushing down to the center, out to the side, and explored kind of a further push. If you wanted to challenge yourself more, you can get into a squat, kind of work those legs, or just have fun kind of dancing around with it. And of course, that goes practicing both hands, working out both hands. Then we did this push where we matched kind of lifting up with our inhale and pushing, really having those abs engaged, pelvis tucked a little bit, and getting that hip hop abs tilt tuck tighten thing I talked about. And from here, you can go with both hands or start with one hand. And if you want to add a little cool flow element, you can do this tracing thing back and forth. There's right hand, my left hand is tracing, or back and forth the other way. Then we have, we talked about this little isolation move. If you do enough of those, your arms are going to feel it. But kind of nice, simple isolation move you can do. And then we talked about our grid and kind of all these different things that you could do to play around with the grid. So you can imagine a 3x3, if we're just talking about, one wall plane, this 3x3 square here, 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 down, here, here. And so here you can just kind of play around, move your hoop in different ways throughout that grid. You might do these hinging moves, back around. You might turn around this cube grid, make it more of this 3D thing, up diagonally. So you might pass back and forth between hands like this. You might do some two-handed play, moving it around to different spaces. Keeping both hands on the hoop can be kind of a fun game and challenge. You can do tracing, work out your tracing into different places on the grid. That can be a way to both train your tracing and get a lot of practice with that, as well as really familiarizing yourself with hoop space and using that and playing around with it. So I encourage that kind of thinking about the grid and playing around with that. And you can either do it in this kind of random way like we did, just kind of going which way, or you can come up with a short little sequence and combo that then you do some repetitions of and play around with. That can be a good way. Doing repetition like this can be a good way to get that move into your motor memory. And so when you're flowing, that can be kind of a go-to thing for your body to do. So you won't have to kind of sit in one place and what do I do now? All right, so then we did our little kind of Zumba style sequence that we'll be doing each week. So let me just run through that sequence. Again, I'll break this all down at the end. So starting with just the easy back and forth, adding the spin if you wish, if that's accessible to you. As you're coming back to your right side, release out, go into this swing and lunge, and then if it's accessible to you right now, linearly isolate back and forth. When it's back in the right hand, rotate down, thumb is leading up, rotate, 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 rotate. If you wanted to add a bend, as the hoop goes up, you go down. All right, and then swinging over into a weave, either having it be the side weave where you're facing forward, or turning your body into the weave like a normal forward weave, and potentially adding those leg lifts if you want, and passing back and forth between hands on the side of your leg lift if you so choose, and then passing off to the other hand to do it on the other side. And release out. Lunge. Linear isolation. That will happen. And rotate down and extension with that rotation. All right. And then finally we did our bigger hoop, some initial waist hooping. You guys were all looking great with that. Being sure to go in both directions, and then working on the catch and using that catch to change directions, starting to train that break movement. And if you get really comfortable with that one catch, you can go with one hand, let it do one rotation around, giving it a nice push back in the other direction. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and break down this a little bit further. So starting with this bouncy move. So you start with your hoop in the center of your body, down below, grabbing it from the center. Think about your hoop kind of as a clock. You're gonna be lifting kind of over to the side. You'll be making this V shape with your hand. So you'll be kind of lifting out to the side. Your hand is at about 10 o'clock. You know, it looks like 2 to you, it's my 10. And then you push back down to the center, lift up to the right side. Now it's at about 2 o'clock. Push back down, up, down, push, lift, push, lift, push, lift. Same thing, left hand. Lift over, arm across your body, push back down, lift up to that left side, push down. And when you feel comfortable with that movement, start really slow, but when you feel comfortable, you can kind of get into this fun little playful bounce. And then if you want to push it, you lift out in the same way, but instead of pushing it down to the center, you push it out to the other side. So it's, you know, past the foot on my body. Arm kind of extended out as far as it can go. And then you lift. And then, so now my hand is kind of on this other side of the hoop, so I can push it out to the other side of my body. Lift straight up, push, lift, push, lift, push. Same thing with left hand. Lift, it's on the side, push, lift, push, lift, push. All right, and then that breathing pose. So again, you're going to be kind of lifting up in the center rather than going down. Before is this V shape. Now it's this kind of upside down V. And you're inhaling, and then really engaging your core, engaging those abs. Kind of good posture, knees over ankles, not over feet. a little bend in the knees, tuck, and as you push out to the side, really kind of contract in that core as you exhale. Inhale up, exhale, contract. You can move to one hand. Same movement, same breathing. You want to add that trace. If you're using your right hand, you'll be grabbing with your left hand. That will be your tracing hand, while your right hand stays firm on the hoop and continues on with the same movement. Left hand. Now my left hand becomes the driving hand, whereas my right hand is going to be the ghosting hand. So inhale. When the hand is on the side of the body, that's the driving hand, the grasping hand, that's when you add your other hand and just trace as your left hand makes the same movement that it was just making. This isolation lifting, so holding, for me, starting with my right hand, holding at the top, grabbing at the bottom with my other hand, and just lifting towards me as the top becomes the bottom becomes the top, and you're just isolating around the shape of the hoop. All right. The grid, I kind of went through that explanation as I went through the review, so I won't go deeper into that. To break down this sequence, so again, you really want to focus on having good form and really getting a lot out of those leg lifts, in part to protect your body, protect your back, make sure your core is engaged, and having this nice form. Otherwise, there's not as much of a point to doing those leg lifts, other than it might look a little cooler than just this back and forth rotation. But for the fitness side of this, really try to have that body awareness and core engagement. So you can start out, the hoop is in your right hand, thumb up, and you're going to be lifting up and over to your left side. Left leg comes up, it kind of hits brakes, changes directions, goes back to your right side, back and forth. If it's accessible to you, as you're doing this rainbow, you can release, let it rotate around your hand once and back. And you can also spin there, also spin.